Hey, how's it going, you guys? So today I'll actually be talking about the evolution of the heart and like the different diseases and components that go into what evolved our heart to be the way it is today, and how diseases have spread and evolved into what they are today. So different species equals different hearts, obviously. There's currently over, I believe, 64,000 different living species and animals, and insects, and in which they're all wired differently, and because they're very different physically and their body characteristics are much different than each other's, they actually have different hearts, and in which functions and growth of these hearts come actually from a carrier system in which gases and nutrients are passed down into the heart, and this is mandatory for larger growth and development of these different animal organs. There are specific animals called mollusks, and mollusks are animals consisting of gastropods and cephalopods, and what they are is they're pretty much limbless animals. Like, as you can see above, a snail is known as a gastropod, and they have two chambered hearts. This is significant because the difference between gastropods and cephalopods is they have very different size components, meaning that a gastropod's heart can grow to 50 or even above the size of its body as compared to a cephalopod, whose body growth can maybe grow from anywhere from 6 to 15% of their own body size. And yeah, heart disease common to our own ancestry. There is many animals that have an effect into heart and heart disease and the evolution it has made and the strides it has made through the course of time. But the main ancestor we had was a chimpanzee, and in which he had connections to atherosclerosis. Pretty sure I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. In which they found that we had three very large characteristics that were relative to chimpanzees, and that was infection, starvation, and injuries. And they found that because of these specific examples, the heart, these are the three main contributing things into why the heart is evolved to be the way it looks today. Atherosclerosis related to heart disease is actually it's a buildup of cholesterol in which the body is filled in plaques in the body's blood vessels, and that results in heart attacks, strokes, a lot of bad juju, and sometimes can even cause death. It was seen that humans with a vigilant immune system were actually more sustainable to not getting heart problems. If you had a better immune system at the time, you had a lesser chance at risk of inflammation. Inflammation would cause blood clots, which would help plug cuts but would cause infections. And as time went on, the body is in fact a very progressive machine. We are known as machines, and as a period of time, those machines have just developed new habits, medication, things to help with the heart diseases and help with things like clot formation. So us as machines have just developed and gotten stronger as machines as time has gone on. The effects on our heart. There is many effects, but one that really stood out to me is when the heart is exposed to high amounts of pressure, it can actually overload due to the cardiac hypertrophy, and develops to preserve its functions by containing a normal chamber wall stress. And that affects blood flow and just overall function of the heart, making it hard for things to continue evolving and can cause for specific species to actually kind of die off. Heart disease, continuing on, it 1/3 of global deaths, I do believe, are actually due to cardiovascular disease. And it is seen that closely related mammals, the human species, much like chimps, are at risk to these cardiovascular diseases. Researchers have actually studied measures, and they believe that these diseases date back anywhere from 2 to 3 million years. Although heart disease is seen as awful, which it is a terrible thing that can cause a lot of problems. It is very much a reoccurring thing that needs to be changed, and can be changed through time, and based on how we take our medical practices and how we evolve together as a unit, based on what we're eating, based on what we're doing, just based on what we're putting on in our bodies, and based upon how we treat ourselves better, is how we are going to see heart evolution in the future. Some statistics here for you guys of heart disease is every 40 seconds someone will die, I do believe, or experience some sort of drastic heart attack. Around 21 million people will be affected or diagnosed with heart disease every year. The death toll estimated multiple year studies that actually showed around 300 or so out of 100,000 people would be diagnosed or will die from heart disease. The southeastern most states is the most common area and is the most affected area actually of heart disease. Mast cells connected to ancestors and old test results. Another connection humans shared with other mammals were mast cells. Mast cells are found in other human heart and large role are believed to have large effect in our own heart's failures, depending on if you have heart disease or not. And it was seen that mast cells actually represented a level of stabilization and a new approach when it came to full-on management of heart failure. Mast cells were also increased in failing hearts. They actually ran studies on these mice to help test against these mast cells to help us find what was doing it, and what was happening to the mouses was quite crazy. Actually, there was so many different reactions based on the mouse's genes. Multiple mice would have relatively similar compounds to humans, and some would just kind of die off. And they found that through these studies that we can actually increase our overall health in heart disease. It just needs to come again from those three main steps: increasing our levelness on injury, starvation, and of course infection, and doing the right steps and things to help us when those things happen. And then finally, sorry to make it long, there's a lot of changes in an overall cause that happened since beginning of the human heart. And they all usually are connected to a specific ancestor. Multiple changes actually occurs and has happened over this long period and over this long human history. The main thing I have learned truthfully about the human heart is that it is a very, very, very mysterious thing. It's like the Loch Ness Monster or something. It's maybe not that extreme, but it definitely is looked upon, and because it's so common, we just look at heart disease as kind of a normal thing, but it never finishes changing, and it's still today not done evolving. And through time, I feel like we will have more and more adaptations for heart change and whatnot. And again, we are the only ones that can change effects of how the evolution of the heart will look in the future. And then here's my questions for you guys. You can go over that when I upload. Here's my citations page, and there's a video as well if any of you guys are interested. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a good day. Bye.